wicket-keeper bat for England for many a year. Now director of cricket here. Tossed out wide. Finds it and does again. Yeah, we're talking about a few county cricketers who weren't able to break into the England Test side, or at least weren't able to then have long established Test careers. And yeah, you're thinking of Chris Reed at Nottinghamshire as a fine gloveman.
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't he? Was it James Foster?
Yeah, Essex keeper.
The one much talked about in wicket-keeping circles around the world, being silky.
James Foster had an ill-timed broken arm, if I remember rightly. It's cruel, isn't it, when injury strikes just at the wrong time of a player's career.
Yeah, and then you go to that Fantasy League list, and Joss Buttler doing a wonderful job at the moment for England behind the stumps. Johnny Bairstow required, or if required as well.
And England have Ben Foakes in and around the Test team at the moment. So, yeah, one case, the top 6 in the England lineup could have been half full of wicket-keepers. That'll bring up the 150 for New Zealand. Still looking too cruisy for them, Dooley. Where are Bangladesh going to force something to happen? How are they going to disrupt this progression towards victory? Because they're 95 away with 133 balls left.
We've got to use all your best resources. So I like the fact that Shakib is bowling his 9th, probably bowl him out to bowl his 10th over as well. No point in having resources left over if New Zealand do get the job done. 28 gone, 150 for 2.
बड़े ख्वाबों को चाहिए बड़ी हिफाजत। नया लाइफ बॉय केयर एंड प्रोटेक्ट जो दे जरासीम से 100% यकीनी हिफाजत।
Zong4G लाया एक एक्साइटिंग ऑफर। फेसबुक के तमाम फीचर्स नॉन स्टॉप सिर्फ 50 रुपए प्लस टैक्स में। बस *250# मिलाएं। Zong4G।
सरसब्ज एनपी और कैन गवारा की बदौलत हर साल हुआ आम खादों के मुकाबले में कपास की पैदावार में 10% से भी ज्यादा इजाफा। सरसब्ज जमीन की जान, फसल की शान।
It's just basically blew Pakistan away, bounced them out.
It's what made Pakistan's victory over England all the more extraordinary. Really throwing the World Cup wide open with that result.
Well, that's why I love this format of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. It's brilliant. Games early on I mean, everybody has their expectations, don't they, of the way they think games should go, but that's the beauty of this wonderful game that we play and love and watch and have the privilege to talk about. There is no certainty. Bowled out for what, less than 120 Pakistan in their first game, then go on and post in excess of 350 and beat the tournament favourites in their own backyard. Bangladesh beating South Africa. South Africa played 3 now, lost 3. Who would have picked that start to the tournament from a South African point of view? One of these two teams will be 2 from 2 at the end of today.
Yeah, a few things gone against South Africa, haven't they, injury-wise, and a huge blow for Dale Steyn to have gone home. Nevertheless, that's how things stand now. India picking up their first points of their opening game. That's just sat up.
Yeah, the other thing about coming into a World Cup, you've got to have a settled lineup. You have to know what your best lineup is when you come into a World Cup, and I don't think South Africa did. I think that's their major issue. They bought a player who they knew was injured and was probably very unlikely to be 100% fit for the first 2 weeks of the tournament in Dale Steyn. So they were coming here on hope. They didn't know whether to play Aidan Markram or whether to play David Miller in the first game. There was conjecture in our commentary box around that with Sean Pollock and Graham Smith. They didn't know whether to play Morris or Paclaqueo or Pretorius. They just weren't sure on their combination. You cannot come into a World Cup and not be certain of who your best 11 is, where you're at. And that's the one thing I think, when you look at Australia, they now know who their best 11 is.
Well, can I put that question to you as regards New Zealand and what happens when Southee is fit? So we're told he's not quite 100% now, and yet if New Zealand are, there could be 1 win from 2. There could be 2 wins from 2 at the end of today. There is Southee on the right of your picture. But, Matt Henry has done a decent job, and Lockie Ferguson has got the pace, and you want to keep him in your middle overs.
Yeah, well, look, it's a tough one for Tim Southee. He's fighting with Matt Henry for that spot, but in my best 11, I still wouldn't have him there because I want Ish Sodhi in my best 11. So he backs up, and he's a wonderful team man, Tim Southee.
Bit of a surprise delivery on Williamson to end the over.
GB पे जीतो गारंटी 6 GB मोर स्टार 336 हैश मिलाओ और छक्के पे छक्का लगाओ।
टॉलरेंस रेफ्रिजरेटर और फ्रीजर अब ले 2 एनर्जी सेवर से भी कम बिजली अपनी नई यूरोपियन टेक्नोलॉजी की बदौलत। तो बिजली का बिल और भी कम, इसीलिए तो रिलायबल है। PSO Blaze 4T जिसका 3D प्रोटेक्ट फीचर दे इंजन, क्लच और ट्रांसमिशन को एडवांस प्रोटेक्शन। PSO आगे बढ़ने की आदत।
Thanks, Sally. 153 for 2. Just a walk in the park for these 2 senior players. Closing in on their 13th 100 partnership. Been a great atmosphere at the Oval, as there often is when Bangladesh are in town. They've kept smiling and singing, enjoying themselves. Skipper's body's hurting. He's rubbing those knees again, trying to get through.
It's a bit like Steve Austin, isn't he? Broken down, they rebuilt him.
We can rebuild him. Fair play to him. He's not going to give up. His body's giving up. He's not. What a shot that is. That is a nice way to go to a 100 partnership. Placement, everything.
Well, he's been a bit of a mixed bag at times today, but every now and then Ross Taylor is as good as you get. And right arm around the angle, just getting the body and the feet in the right position was the key to that shot, and then just hitting through the line that you've produced for yourself. 102 off 118 deliveries. It hasn't been without its moments, shall we say, but in the end it's shaping up to be match winning.
Yeah, the 13th 100 partnership. That give you some context. That's the same as Tendulkar and Sehwag. The highest is Tendulkar and Ganguly, who have 26 100 partnerships. I wonder what stage they start thinking about net run rate. At the moment, it's just win the game, but that man will know some stage, put your foot down and get your net run rate up for the competition. Just starting to get a bit chilly out there. The onions are wrapped up nicely. Nicely flighted, but not a lot there for Mahedi. 158 for 2.
बड़े ख्वाबों को चाहिए बड़ी हिफाजत। नया लाइफ बॉय केयर एंड प्रोटेक्ट जो दे जरासीम से 100% यकीनी हिफाजत।
6 GB पे जीतो गारंटी 6 GB मोर स्टार 336 हैश मिलाओ और छक्के पे छक्का लगाओ।
ग्रीन नूडल्स के साथ
A week into the tournament, Smithy, has it gone pretty much how you thought? Anything surprised you about the tournament in the first week?
There would be surprises, Ness. I mean, you know, there's just so many classy players. Each side has match winners. And when you have that in your bank and they have a moment, and of course you're going to have upsets. So it's not totally unexpected there's been the odd one. I'm a little surprised, and Simon was talking about it before, as South Africa's early pressure they've heaped upon themselves. So that has surprised me a bit, because if you look at South Africa's record over the years, they tend to go deep into a tournament. They haven't won, but they tend to fall over maybe at the semi-final stage or whatever, but they go deep. Only once in their history of playing in the World Cup they have not finished in that position or better. So look, that surprised me a little bit. England getting knocked over, I must admit, I looked at that England side and I thought I didn't think they had a weakness. They've got every base covered in my thinking, but then again you factor in the unpredictability of Pakistan. So you look at South Africa, they got a pretty tough draw, but they got the West Indies next, and who knows what could happen there. It's not inconceivable South Africa get out of this. They win the rest and their run rate is good and sound. It's not inconceivable they're not part of this equation going forward, but boy, they've made it hard for themselves.
As far as the brand of cricket in the first week, I'm pleased there's a little bit more in it for the bowlers. In the last couple of years in England, there's been lots of scores of 400, 350, 380. Just been a little bit more. Bat should still dominate, but there's got to be something in it for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are going to be 350 games. There might even be a 400 game at some point. Someone might go absolutely crazy and get 400. But I listened with interest to Virat Kohli, and one of the things he said was he thought as the tournament got further on, he thought scores might get smaller, and the reason for that is scoreboard pressure and the pressure of World Cups and the pressure of accepting responsibility to do your job out in the middle will get to people. And he forecast that perhaps 350 might not win the World Cup final, 250 might. Interesting.
Well, that was the debate about the England game the other day against Pakistan in a bilateral game. Would they have chased down 340 odd? Probably would have done. Weren't worried about it at all. In a World Cup game, it's different pressures, and that's just in the group stages. That's why these two senior players on show are going to be vital. Once you've been there and done it, once you've had that in your locker, you can go back to it. Taylor and Williamson have done everything in the game. And they're doing it at a canter at the Oval, 160 for 2.
6 GB पे जीतो गारंटी 6 GB मोर स्टार 336 हैश मिलाओ और छक्के पे छक्का लगाओ।
YouTube वीकली बंडल अब सिर्फ 84 रुपीस प्लस टैक्स में पूरा हफ्ता YouTube स्ट्रीम करें। अभी स्टार 570 हैश मिलाएं। Zong 4G.
I could perhaps have made better use of my cricket bats over the years, perhaps turn them into guitars. You're going to say something naughty, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I've already had one dig at you today. Lovely view from our spider cam. Oh, chipped leg side. Has he chipped it straight to the man? He has. They needed a wicket, and Mehdi Hassan has got him one.
Well, he's given the fans in green some belief, and Kane Williamson's really annoyed with himself here. Say something because, as you said, Nasser, they were coasting, and he's now given Bangladesh a little bit of life. One hand comes off the bat. He hits it way squarer than he wanted to. He was looking to go a bit straighter, perhaps wider sort of mid-wicket. He hit it too square, took the hand off the bat, which meant he was not happy with the shot at all.
As he chipped it straight to the man, he has. They needed a wicket, and Mehdi Hassan has got him
now
one.
160 for 3. Well, he's given the fans in green some belief, and Kane Williamson's really annoyed with himself here. Say something because, as you said, Nasser, they were coasting, and he's now given Bangladesh a little bit of life. One hand comes off the bat. He hits it way squarer than he wanted to. He was looking to go a bit straighter.
YouTube वीकली बंडल अब सिर्फ 84 रुपीस प्लस टैक्स में पूरा हफ्ता यूट्यूब स्ट्रीम करें अभी स्टार 570
माँ को पैसे भेजने जाना है।
शनाख्ती कार्ड तो होगा ही, बताओ CNIC नंबर।
किसी भी CNIC होल्डर को आसानी से पैसे ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं।
सुपर है पूरा पाकिस्तान।
3 for 3.
बड़ी स्पीड है बॉस
क्योंकि जैज़ सुपर 4G है, पाकिस्तान फास्टेस्ट मोबाइल नेटवर्क।
सुपर चुपूर पाकिस्तान।